You're listening to Hip Hope on Adelaide's Life FM. It is Scotty here with you tonight and joined by a very special guest. His name is Isaac Peabody. You would know him as Peabod, and you'd know some of his tracks as well, including this one, teaming up with Chad Meston, Left Out.
Party, everybody is invited. This ain't a clique or an in crowd.
And this one with Tadashi, Love Everybody.
They love everybody all the time. A big party, treating others like a brother. That's a good hobby. Everybody.
His brand new single, Mad, has just dropped, and he's just wrapped up a show in Jacksonville, Florida, taking out some time of his very busy schedule. He joins us now from his home in Seattle, Washington in the USA. Peabod, g'day, mate. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. So good to be here. Thank you for making some time to have me on the air. I'm so excited.
No, thank you so much, because you're one of the busiest guys going around at the moment with lots of stuff going on, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But you're not alone. You've got Navy, your beautiful dog, there with you tonight. What kind of dog? You were telling me just before. What kind of dog is she?
She is a Portuguese water dog, which this is kind of just a nerdy fun fact, but apparently these dogs were almost extinct, and then people started breeding them again to be show dogs, which sounds really bougie, but my wife and I got her because I'm allergic to everything, and Portuguese water dogs are good for that. So, but yeah, she's fun.
Gorgeous. Well, if we hear any yapping or growling in the background, we know that it's that it's just Navy and not your wife. But mate, really appreciate your time today. You're at home in Seattle, and I don't know much about Seattle except that it rains a lot, and I feel like it's been doing that here in Adelaide quite a bit lately as well. But tell us a bit about what it's like growing up in Seattle, because the other thing I know about Seattle is the musical influence there. Like, that was the home of grunge and that sort of thing. But you've blossomed into this hip hop artist. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, it's my musical journey. I don't feel like runs completely parallel to the Seattle scene, but the cool thing is there just is a lot of culture here and a lot of people who really love music in all its forms. And so we're definitely best known for the grunge scene, but they're also, like Macklemore with the Thrift Shop song, like he came out of Seattle. So there's a little hip hop scene here. And I know there are a few Christian artists that came from this area too. I'm blanking on them right now, but
but they're there.
But they're there. I'm sure they're there, and you have definitely heard of them, and that's why I can't remember them. But I grew up playing in church and started out taking piano lessons, and then picked up the bass guitar and was like, "This is a rock instrument. I want to be in a band." And then none of my friends wanted to be in a band, so I started writing music on my own. And honestly, my first attempts at songwriting, one, were terrible, but two, were more like singer-songwriter, kind of bluesy, folky stuff. And I did that for a while, and then made a hip-hop project for fun, and just because I loved hip-hop, and I needed to just make something that was only for fun, and that's what got the attention of my label Centricity in Nashville. And long story short, now I'm a rapper by accident, and here we are.
Who are some of your hip-hop influences? I've heard, it might have even been from yourself, your genre be described as happy hip-hop. And I liken it to a little bit of the old-school KJ5 too. There's a lot of fun and a lot of good, happy vibes coming from your music. So who are some of your influences? And help us just define that genre a little bit more, please.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the biggest kind of defining quality is just it's really melodic. I like to do more traditional rapping without a melody, but I love to write catchy hooks, and I guess that's where more of my pop influence comes in. But in the hip hop world, I grew up on Lecrae and Tadashi and Andy Mineo and all the Reach Records guys, and listened to a little Chance the Rapper and the guy that produces for him was really inspiring for me, just kind of a different flavor of hip-hop production. And so I just kind of was really fascinated by this idea of joy in hip-hop music. And I think as Christians, obviously we have the best reason to be joyful. And so it just makes sense. So that's kind of where what I like to tell people at my concerts and stuff is I might be singing a song about like, I don't know, enjoying Coca-Cola or about like my hoodies or something like that. But my like the deeper kind of belief behind the happy hip hop idea, I guess, is just that, we have the best reason to celebrate, and that is Jesus. And I also think that, I've heard it said that part of God's divine plan for bringing his kingdom is like each of our individual joy. Like that is important to him. And so when we delight in things that make us happy, that are good things, that is, in some ways, I think that's a form of worship, whether that's just being like, man, it's gorgeous outside today, or like, I'm enjoying being with my friends right now. Those are all things that we get to thank him for. So, anyways, that's kind of my philosophy. And there's, not all the songs are happy, but I think that sometimes you have to acknowledge the hard stuff to get back to the joyful moments,
Yeah, absolutely. And well, your new single that just dropped on Friday is called Mad, but so obviously they're not all happy. They're mad as well. And it looked like so much fun. I've seen clips of the video, you smashing up lamps and all this sort of thing. So tell me a bit about Mad.
Yes. Oh man. So I wrote Mad. I started writing Mad at the beginning of the pandemic. So I was on like the biggest tour of my career, and it got canceled 4 shows in. And in that time too, if we want to just go really deep with the meaning of this song, I was working through a lot of my own kind of just healing from church wounds, to be frank. Okay. Just dealing with some bitterness and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I think that maybe I just need to take a minute to write a song that is cathartic and that is also kind of like a little bit poking fun at myself, but just, going, this is, I need to acknowledge this and feel this for what it is. I was like, I think that I need to write a song that honors this feeling, because, in like counseling, they, will tell you like, you have to actually feel the negative feelings if you ever want to actually move past it, because otherwise it'll come out sideways sometime when you're not intending it to. It's a much healthier way to like write an angry song that it has a little bit of humor to it. Like there's definitely some tongue-in-cheek moments where I'm kind of making fun of myself. But at the same time going like, let's have kind of a cathartic moment to go like, all right, let's have the tantrum in music form instead of, something destructive. And so, I mean, we were destructive in the video, but, that's better than saying something mean when you didn't mean to, like out of turn or, or something else like that. So that was kind of the thought, and just to kind of let it be messy and let it be what it is. So, I was really happy with how the video turned out, and I mean, I got to smash a guitar in it, and that's like every musician's dream is to do that, and so so it was really fun.
Absolutely, and thank you for being so open and honest and candid with us there as well. Now, obviously, that sucked. The whole touring thing just disappeared. No one was able to really go and do anything, or it was a really rough time. But thankfully, things have changed and opened up, and you've been really busy on the road. You recently wrapped up a bit of a West Coast tour with Rhett Walker. You had shows in Texas and Arizona, and then just on the weekend, Jacksonville in Florida. So you've been all over and getting back out there, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I feel really grateful. My booking team has been working super, super hard, and it's just been so great to get in front of people again. And I've gotten to play a lot of like youth events, which has been a blast, because that's where, my dad's a pastor, and so I grew up like leading worship for like junior high camp and stuff like that. And so it's just been really fun to get back in those spaces, and it just reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing. So, man, I feel really grateful.
And not only are you doing the big stage shows, you've been doing a lot of stuff online as well, like virtual shows and some intimate acoustic sets as well. So people can jump on that and be a part of that too, right?
Yes, yeah. So I launched this thing in May called Peabod Summer School, and basically the idea is I wanted to provide stuff for people to interact with all summer long. So I'm stopping at a few cities around the country, and unfortunately not in Australia. That would be awesome.
Come on.
But, I know. I'm looking for an excuse to get over there, but I'm stopping at some cities around the country and giving away like bootleg copies of the new EP like before it comes out. I'm doing like virtual events on my Instagram Live. We had like a game night and we did an acoustic concert, and we're doing a movie night soon. And really I just wanted to provide like fun stuff so that we could build some community all summer long, and drop some music while we're at it.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, the new EP, not too far away. You're pretty much wrapping up Growing Up Part 2. Mm-hmm. So tell us a bit about where things are at music-wise and what we can look forward to in the future.
Yeah, I'm really excited. So Mad just came out, of course, and then we've got one more song coming out at the end of July that will complete the Growing Up series. At least as we know it. Who knows? There might be a part 3 in there.
Still got some more growing up to do?
Yeah. We all have some more growing up to do, I think. But I think that probably what will happen next is we'll finish this EP, and I think my team and I will do some recalibrating and really think about the next chapter and what we feel like God's calling me to write and sing about in the next season. Because, I think that each artist kind of has those 2 or 3 themes that are really near and dear to their heart, mm-hmm. that stem out of their faith or their life or whatever. And sometimes also it's like, okay, what's a different way to sing about these truths? And so I'm really excited to kind of get back into imagination world and think about the next project.
Awesome. If people want to get to know a little bit more about you and get a little bit more inside, so maybe some early access to your music or pick some of the sets for these virtual shows and the likes, they can become a roommate. Tell us what that entails and how we can do it.
Yes. Oh, man. Thank you for teeing me up so beautifully on this.
That's what I do.
The roommate, yes. That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Oh, yeah.
The roommates are a little community of my Patreon supporters, and I tell people all the time that I have the greatest fans in the world, because like not even just like they're so supportive, but they're just like the nicest people. Like every time I get to meet them on the road, like they're encouraging each other and me, and it's just like it's really awesome. So we have this community of super fans called the Roommates, and they get special privileges like early access to music videos and songs. Sometimes they get unreleased music, and most recently they got to pick the set list for the acoustic concert. So it's just a fun place. It's like I think it's like a $5 a month commitment, but that's all through Patreon, and it's a fun place to get to hang out and get to know each other. So if you're interested in more than just what's going on with summer school, that's definitely a good place to lean in.
Beautiful. Where can people find that and keep up to date with you on your socials?
So I have the same username across pretty much all social media platforms, and that's just at Peabod Raps. And I'm super active on Instagram and TikTok these days, so definitely come give me a shout. And then if you want to find the Patreon, I don't remember the URL off the top of my head, but if you Google Patreon Peabod or some combination of those two, I'm sure I'll be the first one that pops up.
No worries. And we've got you tagged on our socials as well, so you can go and check that out as well on Life FM's Instagram. Well, Peabod, thank you so much for your time this evening. We really do appreciate it. And congratulations on the new single. Absolutely loving it. Mad, make sure you go and check that one out. But, mate, thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure. Appreciate you guys.